This is like hilarious to me. I can't even stand up. We are doing a video on authenticity, and here I am being super authentic. I'm literally sitting in my chair. I'm gonna fall over. Oh my gosh. My name's Molly Mahoney. I don't know if we're live on Jamie's pages. I literally just messaged her to see if she was okay to get started. This is so funny. And I was going to add another platform on, but I accidentally hit the go live button. Oh my gosh, she's going to think I'm a total kook. This is a perfect example of authenticity and not the way I would usually start a video. But let me move my chair so I don't fall over because I'm like halfway on my chair, halfway standing up. I literally just jumped up so quickly because I accidentally hit the button. Jamie, I accidentally hit the go live button before I started. So I don't know if we should restart this. I think it is kind of hilarious. Can I bring you on? Are you okay for me to bring you on? I can't hear you. Hold on. I'm bringing you in.
My hooked up. I'm a little behind.
No, I was trying to see if I could add Instagram on, and instead of clicking the button to add more platforms, I hit go live, and then I jumped up. I'm like, I need to move my chair.
Well, here we are. That's part of the jam then.
I mean, I was like, this is about authenticity, and here you go.
Here is how it happens.
Here is how to be authentic. So what we're actually here to do today is to talk about authentic leadership. And were you able to get, so the full official video will start in a moment. We're glad that you're here. Let us know where you're joining us from. Were you able to get yours connected to this?
Joining us.
I know. Thank you. Were you able to get yours?
I was, I believe I should be, I think.
Did you? Well, so let me just see. I don't see them on here as like paired things. It's okay.
Yeah, I kept saying that I was, but I don't know.
All right. Well, we're here. We're glad that you're here too. And one of the things that I always, share when we're doing videos is that you want to make sure you're really starting at the top and addressing where you're at. So now we're giving you a little behind the scenes. I'm so sorry. I hit the button and then I freaked out.
I mean, it is what it's supposed to be, right? Because we're talking about authentic leadership and about working through experiences where sometimes it doesn't always go in your favor and it's a little stressful. So, hey.
But even when it doesn't always go in your favor, it's still going in your favor because when things happen, good things happen. So that's good. Oh my gosh.
So,
great.
Let's see. Am I connected? Is it going on my profile? I don't know.
So on your top
everybody. I don't know
section, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Did you put it on your, is that what you added, your profile?
Yeah. Because that's where my peeps are.
Well, let's see.
We'll see.
Amazing. Either way, we can share it later and all that stuff.
Will be good. And then, I don't know, do we want to, everyone can just continue to have the behind the scenes and go live on Instagram at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to set up here too when I first started this and then destroyed the internet or made the internet even better than before is what I mean.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to try and do a live on Instagram like as a joint stream?
Yeah.
Or is that going to be confusing?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to try to see if I can do it. And then
all right. So Jamie and I have been friends forever and we've worked with each other on both sides as clients, as in she has been in our glam program. I have hired her to do ad stuff for us. So we know all the ins and outs of friendship, working together and co-creating things as well.
Yes. I mean, yeah. And I had the opportunity to coach in glam.
Which was amazing also. So she used to run our mindset calls. And it's funny, we just finished the glam event this past weekend, which is why I sound like I'm a smoky jazz singer right now, because I have lost the upper register of my voice because I've been speaking for 2 weeks straight. And one of the things that came up actually at the glam event is one of our members was like freaking out because she doesn't like the word mindset. And it was so funny because all of us were using the term mindset. And it was a really great point to her that it may bother her, but all of her ideal clients are using it. So She needs to get over it. So it was awesome having you run those calls for us. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that that's an interesting place to start for me because you were one of the people who pointed out to me that I had a gift in that as I was really trying to I had built a company where I was like, I had a lot of freedom. And in the years before that, you and I talked a lot about like building our teams and going through a lot of times where we had to put out a ton of fires and deal with stuff that was like, why do I have all of these systems in place? And yet for some reason, all these fires are happening. I thought that that's what I was building this stuff for. And, you know, it turns out that you can have all the systems and SOPs in place in the world, but if you aren't actually stepping into like your best version of your own leader and doing the mindset work,
yeah,
you still have,
and whether you call it mindset or you call it inner work or you call it connection to source or you call it trust in yourself, whatever you call it, a piece of broccoli, it doesn't matter, right? But like the inner stuff and getting that alignment was another one that came up a lot at the event this weekend. Without that, all of the strategies, all of the tactics, all of the cool things that we both love so much, they aren't really going to get you very far.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing what the difference in some deep work, some mindset work, getting to the place where you're like, oh my God, I'm so in alignment and I know what I want to be doing and where my zone of genius is. Also an amazing thing that Molly brought into my life with the Big Leap and Gay Hendricks and his amazing work. But actually being deeply connected to that, if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, when you're disconnected to what your true zone of genius is and you're so stuck in your zone of excellence, that's when we get stuck in the work that we don't love and it takes us away from our true leadership, I think.
Totally. And really, like, this is the point of this video today, which Jamie and I are doing randomly on a Monday afternoon. So we're glad that you're here. I see Mari. It's so good to see you, Mari. A bunch of different people. Joseph, others. We are live in lots of different places. And something that has been coming up for me a lot, and maybe for you a lot too, is this like Comparionitis stuff and feeling like we have to watch our social proof and watch the numbers and like, what are other people doing and how am I going to show up to match them? And when it comes to leading authentically, I feel like all of that kind of mumbo jumbo keeps us away from really being able to show up as we truly are. And so I was really excited because I just came from social media marketing world and there were so many conversations about this. And so I know we've got some really great stories that we're going to dig into about like real things that are a little scary to share maybe publicly. So get ready for that. We also have, I would love to talk about like, what does it actually even mean to be authentic? You know, like, I think it's a buzzword that has been thrown around for years and years, maybe decades even, but what does authenticity even mean? And does it even matter to whether or not people are truly authentic in the terms of leadership? Do people even care? So I'm excited to get into all of this. And before we actually jump into it, Jamie, there's a couple things I'd love you to do. So first, can you just tell, because I think we're mainly here on my pages here, and I know not everybody may be aware of your brilliance. So I would love you to do two things. One is just tell us a little bit about like who you are, what you do. Two is Jamie and I have something that we're doing together coming up in real life. And so if you can just share a little bit about that. And then we'll dive into some honestly potentially horribly embarrassing stories that we're going to talk about and how we shifted through some things in our own lives so that we really could show up authentically and tell the truth so that our communities know that they're safe. Our community members know that they're safe, know that they can share authentically with us as well. So if you want to stay in for the tea, then you're going to want to stick around. Right. And if you want, let's put some show notes together on this too. So I'll put some show notes together on my side. So if you want access to the show notes, just drop all one word, remind me below this video. And depending on where you are, you may get information about show notes automatically. Most likely there's going to be a human being that comes back to you later to make sure that you can get access to the show notes and a reminder next time that we're live. Sound good?
Amazing. I love
Amazing.
it. I love your show notes. They're the best. So don't miss that one. Do it.
They're good. It just makes it easy for a recap.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so tell us, introduce yourself. I love you.
Okay, so thank you. I love you. I'm Jaime O'Connor. I like to refer to myself as a purpose and leadership alchemist that's really pulling you into connecting to your inner wisdom using mindset and performance work for entrepreneurs and leaders to truly get connected to your inner compass that you were born with. And over time, because of life, because of society, because of all of the things, it kind of gets conditioned out of us. And there gets to be a point, especially for those of us who have built really amazing things. We're really good at creating. We're really good at the hustle and grind. And being high performers, there gets to be this point where you're like, I just want flow. Like, I just want to flow in my life. I just want to enjoy what I've created. And like, why can't I get there? And we have this deep inner wisdom inside of us that we can connect to, that can guide us to actually flourishing in the fruits of our labor, in all of the things that we love, and get to live our greatest life and get to choose the path of our greatest life that we're not choosing because we're not connected to that inner compass and we don't have the mindset work that we need to do. So I am a guide and a mentor, and basically you getting to your greatest inner wisdom.
And it may, the way flow shows up may not show up as flow for you. It may just be that you're like, I just want this to be easy. Like, you know,
yeah.
And I just, before you tell about this other thing, I just want to highlight one of the things that I love about Jaime, and it's actually something else that came up this past week as we had this event here with our mastermind members, is this combination between being like a super tech and Facebook ads wizard, which I know you're not talking about really anymore, but I'm going to talk about how brilliant you are in that space, and combining that with this flow idea. I find that oftentimes people are either super techie, super strategic, or they're a goddess who's sitting up on a hillside. And I love that you're a goddess who's like down in the valley with us. So it's a good combo.
Yeah. I'm an earthly being, as it turns out. I actually have a really hard time resonating with like the super like spiritual woo-wee worlds, because I like being really grounded. I like being in that. I those who know me very closely know I'm very spiritual and know that like I have some weird stuff. Like I have an altar in my bedroom. Like I do some weird shit, and that's true. But I also am very much like grounded, and I do the work, and I hustled a lot, and this is my 5th business that I've built. So like I really like to combine both of those things and help people get to that place, because flow is what you define it as. I mean, I remember when I had my agency, I remember being like, I don't know what my zone of genius is. I just want to have a break. Like, I just want to like take a moment and like not do anything.
Yeah. If you've ever felt that way, let us know. Say yes in the chat.
And it took me going through the path of the mindset work to actually connect to, oh my gosh, I've actually created this really amazing life. There was actually a moment that you and I were on a call, and I was like sitting in front of Lake Dillon in the mountains, and I had this hat on,
I tried to find
Molly
these photos. Y'all, I was freaking out on this call because I just kept taking screenshots of Jaime, because she like, it was like honestly kind of weird. And I'm surprised you still talk to me after that moment, because I was like this like internet stalker, like, oh my God, the lighting is so perfect. I have to take screenshots of you. It was so cool. So,
you were like, the way the light is coming down and on you, and you just look like, and we were talking about, I was in this place of like, where do I want to be? And she was like, you have created the kind of life most people think is a vacation, or they dream about being able to create, but you're doing it actively while you're building a business and you're doing these other pieces. You're not waiting for it. And it was like a light bulb moment of recognizing, oh, that's where my true leadership is. That's where my leadership can be, and being able to lead people into doing the thing now, not waiting until the end.
Like the yes and of it all. And
yes,
and okay,
exactly.
with that in mind, I mean, I just got back from 2 weeks of like psycho travel, like a week and a half of psycho travel. And I know a lot of people thought beforehand, my team was like, there's no way this is going to be possible. And I was like, you know what, but that's actually what I want to do. So I'm going to make it work. and just recognizing that if you're feeling pulled to live a certain way, it doesn't need to wait until you feel like you're ready. And I know something that you've done recently is create these retreats, these experiences where we can get out of our comfort zone. I love, and not comfort zone in like, magic happens outside your comfort zone. I mean, like out of your zone of like physical comfort where things feel normal, and get into a place that just feels different, because it allows us to be able to see new perspectives and be inspired, and like be around new humans and be allowed to do different kind of things. So tell us what it is that you've created before we jump even further in.
Okay. So I created Flourish Retreats. I held the first one in Aspen last year, and we're going to be holding the second one here in Baja California, Mexico, in the Los Cabos area, in this beautiful, amazing little town called Todos Santos, which is super magical. And it is really all those things I described. It is like this intensive 5 days of play and purpose and getting into a space of super flow so that you can connect to that part of it. And there is some deep work and some shadow work and some exploring the parts that have kept you from that, because like Gay Hendricks talks about this in his books. We have these shadow parts that keep us safe. And if we don't explore those parts in a safe container with people that can guide us through it, then we will always remain a little bit stuck and in our zones of excellence and our zones of greatness, and not in our zone of genius. So this is meant to take you out of your everyday environment and help connect you to that, but also give you tools that are like embodied by the time you leave. Mm-hmm. So you actually have them. They transform you before you leave, and you go back to your regular life having them. Mm-hmm. Everyone who came to Aspen were pretty blown away by the fact that like the experiences that they had there changed them for months and continued now 6-7 months afterwards. It's not like when you go to a business retreat and you're all like super inspired and you're like, yes, I'm gonna like go back and do these things, and then you go back and you're like, oh my god, I have to get back to my regular life. The things that happen, because I do bring in my spiritual side, and I combine it with my grounded, super strategic business side that has built 5 businesses, and we create this experience that helps get you to your next level of leadership. And Molly is joining us in Baja, and it's going to be so amazing. And it's been something we've talked about, God, for 2 years. I feel
my gosh, yes.
COVID time was the first time we talked about it, and then, life happened there. So I'm just so excited because of so many reasons. One, it supports me in stepping into my pure zone of genius, of really like helping to be the activator of those pieces of you, and help you walk through the shadow work and help you go into the mindset work, so that, because I have someone who's such an amazing kick-ass businesswoman that does it from a place of pure joy, that can support you in that. And also she's going to bring in all of the other parts of her, the voice activation side of things, the dancing, the play.
No, we're going to have the best time ever. And if you're a part of our community, our number one principle in business is the more fun we have, the more money we make. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited to be able to help facilitate this retreat so that we can, take all of the brilliance Jamie's going to bring. And there's a few other people who are helping to run things as well. But then also bring in this aspect of play, which I'm just so excited about it. So we're going to have so much fun.
I mean,
Yay.
I have like a super like exciting, I can't even reveal it because I can't tell people before they get there, but like I just added the most fun play inner child thing that is going to be, I can't even, oh my God, I'm so excited about it. But anyways, so I wish I could tell you guys. I can't tell you because it has to be a surprise, but everyone's going to love it. And it is, I guess I should clarify because both of us actually have a lot of incredible men in our network, that this particular event is for women. I am really hoping we get to expand one that can be for everyone in the next year, but this is for women. So this is like the thing I'm going to add is going to bring you back to your days of like swimming with your girlfriends in the pool when you're like 6 or 7 years old, maybe, and just pretending that maybe you were mermaids.
I was just going to say, is it like mermaid play? Okay, I can't wait. I'm so excited. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time as we're starting off this whole session today to talk about this retreat that's coming up. And I'm going to put the link just here on the screen. Flourish Baja. That's it, right?
Yep, that's it.
It's so easy. Amazing. And I'll bop it around different places because I know we're live in a couple of places. So if you're interested in that opportunity is there for you to come join us. We only have a few spots left, right? Because it's pretty tiny. Like
Yep. So it's an 11-room resort. So it is super intimate so that everyone really gets a lot of nourishment, a lot of attention. It is all inclusive except for your flight. So you just got to get to Los Cabos, which there's flights from like literally everywhere. Most of them have nonstops because a lot of people come here on vacation. And so all inclusive, like farm to table food every day. We are going to have a day where we get taken out by boat to a private island and swim with sea lions and have a chef make us food. So like outside of the experience of the coaching and those pieces, we also have this like incredible, just like super nourishing experience that is going to be amazing. So
I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. Okay. And part of what we're going to be, playing into is this idea of authenticity. So
yes,
Jamie and I really wanted to do this video. We've been talking about a video like this for a long time. If you've heard the podcast episode that we did together, we tapped into a little bit of this. But the authenticity piece is something that comes up a lot for me because at events, I think I hear more about it at events than anywhere else, is that when people are, and I don't know, Jamie, if this happens with you also, I'm sure it does, that when people are at in-person events, if they haven't met me in real life before, they say like, oh my gosh, I'm so confused. You're exactly like you are in real life. The way that you are online is exactly like you are in real life. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm the same person. But apparently this is something that's not very common. And I think rather than coming from a place of like judging people and thinking, oh, they're being fake or they're whatever, I think really it's hard for most people to figure out who they even are, first of all, and then how do they show up online or even in person. Like I think the facade comes up in both places. There's a facade that comes up. There's like all these different personas that we develop and we show up as on these different platforms, whether it's in line or in person. And how crazy exhausting is that?
It's so exhausting. And so I'll tell you, after the last few years of working with high performers on mindset stuff, that often is what creates that situation, I really have come to believe that it's actually safety. You don't feel safe to be fully yourself out in the world because you don't have a sense of safety inside yourself. And being able to like go out into the world and be like, I can totally be myself and like let all the masks down. And we like, there's trolls, they exist out there and they're going to be, we have to like have a sense of our own belonging inside of ourselves to not let that stuff come and affect us. And so there's this like wall that a lot of people come up against. So I don't think the people who aren't who they fully are out in the world, the leaders who act differently when you see them in person, they just got really good at being on stage. They have actually the same issues you might have in being scared to go live or show up.
Well,
really.
And this is something
they
that
just
really,
have a mask.
or I think even for the people that seem like super collected and confident and whatever, it comes up for them also. Like I am in Michael Burnoff's communication program specifically to work on confidence because, and I think that may be like surprising, but each new stage of the game, there's a new, like they say, new level, new devil or whatever. There's a new level of needing to feel that safety, I think is totally true. That having that true sense of confidence really is a piece of feeling safe in your own skin.
Yeah. And that, it doesn't come naturally, I don't think, to anybody. I think having the support structures around you, there's a few different ways to think about this, right? Like Brene Brown talks about in her books about having your circle, right? Like your immediate circle you can trust, that is your people that can help you do that can be the ones you want to have in the arena with you and have your back.
Yep.
Keep your back strong, right? And so that's why you hire coaches for stuff like this. That's why you go to retreats like Flourish, so that you can get your back strong, so that you can be out in the open and be who you are and feel super safe in who you are, because you have that structure and that support system that's helping you grow into that, even if you're taking leaps to go like beyond your comfort zone. Learning your own capacity. Like a lot of times, especially in the online world, right, we're given like all of this stuff of what we should be doing. And sometimes the stuff that you're being told to do is beyond your actual safety capacity, is beyond your like, and so learning what that is for yourself and being like, I'm so good with what I'm doing right now, having that ability, that helps you be your most authentic self out in the world. That helps you step outside your door and be closer to who you actually are.
Totally. And I think just having something that, whether it's, I think like a combination between the inner work that you do for yourself so that you have a solid foundation in who you are personally, and having that human aspect that you can count on, whether it's in a partner that you feel safe with, or a mentor that you feel safe with, or a group of friends that you feel safe with, or a mastermind community, something like that, like having actual outside support as well. And I mean, this is not something we planned on talking about at all, but obviously we have had what seems to be a huge uptick in suicide, and from people who seem very confident on the outside, and clearly there's something that foundation isn't there somehow. And I just think, what can we do proactively for ourselves to make sure that we're checking in when we start to feel that foundation slip away for whatever reason it is? Because like I went to college with Twitch, Stephen, and that whole, I wasn't super close with him. We taught at the same dance studio also. I've always thought like, man, I wish I had been 1 year younger, because I would have been closer to him because he was just like so awesome. But he's someone that I felt very connected to in the way that he showed up so joyfully. And sometimes I wonder, like, is there a moment when I would snap? Like, it makes me look at what what happened there. It's like, how does that happen? And so proactively, I've tried to make sure that I have my own checks and balances in place, that I don't ever let the pressure get to be something that is so, the pressure of holding up that positivity for others, I think can be something as a leader that we don't talk about. And it's something that we need to be able to know that we can pull back too, and that we can be honest with where we are if things start to feel shaky.
Yeah, this is actually really hard, and it's also really interesting from a perspective of checking in with yourself and also the people around you. One of my mentors and teachers lost a mentor of hers, and like years ago, and it's made a significant impact on her life and what she also teaches down, because that person had a lot of public influence, right? And was a mindset person. And yet often if we're not checking in with like, am I really like keeping my circle close? Am I out in the world as who I truly am? Am I doing these pieces and connecting back? We can start to create this like chasm and then be like, wait, who am I? And do I even have people close to me anymore? And so like really coming back to center and learning the tools to come back to center and check in and take rests and do the things for yourself, and
because we are like, whether or not you believe it, we are building different versions of ourselves on these, because through these platforms, there's that extra layer of being able to create whoever you want the world to see you as, which is kind of cool, right? But also, do we get caught up in whatever it is that we've created as this persona, and the feeling to keep that going when maybe it's time to take a break or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
for sure. I think we can bring that back too into this whole idea of like, what happens when you're out in the world and you have experiences that are hard, that make you feel like, wait, am I what I say I am? And like, what is happening right now? And we can totally go to the Clubhouse thing.
I was just gonna say, because we have had moments where there was one moment in particular where Jamie and I were both like, is this actually a thing happening right now? like of people honestly just being jerks very publicly and not knowing how to hold your ground in a certain situation. So let's tell the story. Are you ready for the tea?
I'm ready.
So, okay, we're going to tell the story and then we'll like debrief it. So take yourself back to 2020, Christmas of like the Christmas, like, winter, December of 2020. And we are all real over being online and so grateful that there is this thing called Clubhouse because we miss human beings. Jamie, take it away.
Yeah. So Clubhouse is going off like wildfire. And I can't remember, like Molly and I think maybe I sent Molly the invitation. We're in there. We're like on fire. We're in these rooms all the time. We're doing the thing, building up our following. And this one room starts to take off that Molly is a moderator on.
Somehow I ended up being like part of this group of 12 people who moderated this thing. And I still have really good friends from this experience.
Yeah.
But it wasn't people, like I didn't know any of these people. I don't even know how this actually happened. But Clubhouse, for people who were showing up on Clubhouse, it was such an interesting like social experiment from where we were at.
So interesting.
So, and
especially with COVID and like being
exactly.
like, I haven't been talking to people.
Yeah. And so it was this group of about 12 people. They were very strict about who the moderators were. So we had a separate moderator chat. And then the idea is that you had to have a quote unquote 7-figure business in order to be, it was like how to run $1 million business was the name of it. And the goal that this group had was to be the longest running room on Clubhouse. So I was getting up at like 2 a.m. to moderate this thing I would hide in my pantry. Why I wouldn't go to my office, I still don't really know, but sometimes I would just be like in my pantry. Like that made sense. But it was like dark and I was like in the middle of the night, like a radio DJ. It was really fun. And also it showed me that some people, like ego is a real thing, and vanity metrics and how people say, like the numbers that people toss around about their business doesn't actually mean jack. However, tell them what happened.
Yeah. So this had been going on for a while. The room was growing. There was like thousands of people.
Yeah, in this it was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it was nutty. And Molly, I think you texted me and said, okay, no one is in here answering any questions that are good about Facebook ads, and all these people are asking questions. We need to have you come on stage. Because
we were in need of an actual Facebook ads expert, which Jamie is, so, okay.
Yeah. So at this time I had my agency. I mentored with most of the biggest names that you've heard over the 6 years, and they are my good friends. I had a tendency to stay a little quiet. I'm not like big and boisterous about like what I've done, who I've worked with. like any of those things. It's just not the way I operate in the world. And that's my thing, right? Like, I know who I am and that works for me. I network in person. That's my thing. So anyways, I get pulled on stage and I was answering somebody's question and I get kicked off.
Like literally in mid-sentence. It wasn't even
mid-sentence. Yeah.
It was, and we had already, she had come up, we had introduced her something, whatever. She had answered like one question, then another question came up. She unmuted to answer, and then someone kicked her off the stage. And we were like, what? And I think I said like, I'm sorry. What just happened there? Like, but we're all on this weird app. So there was no physical, you couldn't read body language or anything.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that somebody tells me that because they didn't have proof that Jaime had a 7-figure business, we couldn't actually have her running the stage. Was that what they said? Is that how?
Well, it actually was twice, because you brought me back on. We were both thinking that something was like.
Oh, we thought it was like a glitch at first. Okay.
A glitch. You brought me back on. I started talking again. I was getting messages from this girl on Facebook that I was like helping, saying, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I don't know why you're not there." And it turns out this chat is going on behind the scenes. Like, we don't have proof, but we don't have proof she has a 2 Club award.
Oh, and that is what they were using as the actual proof.
That is what they were using as proof.
Okay. And here's the problem. And this is where like the authenticity piece comes in. And this is, thank you for that reminder, because do you know, if you're watching this right now, what a 2 Club award means? It means that you have generated $1 million in sales through a funnel, which that funnel could have taken you 15 to 25 years. I don't think ClickFunnels has been around that long, but however long ClickFunnels has been around, it could have taken you 4 years to generate that 7 figures. So they're using this 2 Club award as the marker for whether or not you are successful, which is such a load of bull because it has nothing to do with profits. It has nothing to do with like whatever, anything. And it ended up being something though that was like, talk about what happened after that. Just like the way
I think, so yes, exactly. And at that point in my business, if I'd run everything through ClickFunnels payments, I would have had a 2 Club award.
Yeah,
and
I didn't have a 2 Club award because I use Samcart.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And you know, these aren't, to me, those metrics were never that important. And what truly matters is, are you serving people in a way that is really changing their lives? So it took me down. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is hard for me to admit that Clubhouse gave me a serious dose of imposter syndrome. And I was like, what is happening? Because as we're human beings, right? Like, we're not, it doesn't matter how much mindset work you do or how well you're doing or like what you have in your house or what you have, you know, none of that matters when we have these very human experiences that can make us feel jilted. And it took me a little while, and going to my circle, going to the people that know me, to really have good conversations with them, pull myself back in, and recognize that those people are on like the outer of the outer circle and have no place in my psyche. But it's a lesson we have to learn. And it's like also, right, the lesson that keeps us from going live, and the lesson that keeps us from like putting ourselves out there because we're afraid of that lesson. And let me just tell you really quick, on the other side of it, it doesn't actually hurt that badly.
Totally. And you know, here's like, what is
the moment?
One thing I think that this is kind of stuff like comes up all the time though, for all of us. It comes up for me, like at Social Media Marketing World, there were several things that happened going into that event this year that I was like, what is up with my energy around this? Because I knew, so this year they decided they were going to do a lot of focus on short form video. I'm not talking much about video anymore because I think there's more important things we need to focus on, because the video can be here. And I like, you know, I can give you video strategies, but if you're not doing everything else around the video, it's not going to work. And so for whatever reason, I wasn't asked to speak at Social Media Marketing World this year. And going into the event, because I had spoken in the past, I was like, I know people are going to ask me if I'm speaking, and then I'm going to have to say no, and I'm going to feel like a fraud, which it has nothing to do with actually anything. But I had to like really psych myself up. And luckily, Luria Petrucci talked me off the ledge like 5 times before going there, where I had, and like, I feel really confident in what I'm doing. And I'm very, I had this awesome conversation with her and Kenya, and she was like, we talked about Instagram numbers at one point also, and my Instagram engagement has been way down. And Kenya was like, yeah, but your sales have been way up. And so I decided last week, I did a video with Jenna last week of Group Track about big sales with small numbers. And I decided that I need to talk more about the fact that, yeah, I have it's a relative term, right? I did do a post this morning that has 1 like on it so far. That 1 like is me. And so that, but you can't, yeah, I like myself, y'all. I'm going to give myself some self-love. But we've got to be able to find our own strategies and tricks for owning our own power and centering our worthiness around a different metric.
Yeah. And it's that much more important today. Like, it is growing in importance to be able to do that. The more and deeper we get into these online social networks, because like it's taken over in our entire lives. Let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
I actually was very fortunate that I had 2 weeks last year. One was a conscious leadership retreat where I was in training, like a trainee. And the other was my retreat that I hosted where I was off completely. And the amount of like clearness and like calm that I had after those 2 weeks was a lot. And it really made me realize how much power I was giving away to people that don't deserve that level of energy and power, and how much I had to focus on being able to bring that back in and bring in the tools to do that, to like be back to center.
Yeah. And it's not something that you get to a point where all of a sudden you're just the grounded rock on the mountaintop. Like,
no,
there's going to be, I call them big sparkly boulders, but there's going to be things that come up. And how do we, if you allow yourself to get off kilter and then, give those energies or those people or whatever it is, that power, how are you doing a disservice to the people who really need you? And here at our event this weekend, there were a couple of moments where, we did all of this crazy AI chat GPT thing that was so flippin' awesome. And then we had some moments that were very raw and real. And someone was apologizing for like getting a little emotional. And somebody else said, it's when we are out of alignment. I think Kimiko said this, that when we are out of alignment and we finally get back in, it can be years that you've been living out of alignment before you get back into it. And that feeling of being back in your own being, your own self, is like, whoa. And it may bring things up for you. So,
yes.
Yeah. So for those people who are just joining right now, Jamie and I are just having a random candid conversation about authenticity and leadership. And the thing that inspired us to have this conversation is the fact that we have a retreat coming up in Mexico. I have not talked about it yet because I had so many other events happening here. So today is the first day. It's my coming out party about the fact that I am going to be helping Jamie with this retreat in Mexico. So just really quick, again, tell us a little bit more about this. And then I've got one more thing I want to dive into quickly before we wrap up.
Flourish, happening May 21st through the 25th in Los Cabos, Mexico. And it's really this place where we're going to dive into all of these things that we've been talking about, getting into your center, becoming what I like to actually call, and this is what we were talking about and what is really authentic, a self-authored leader. And what I mean by self-authored is that you're writing your own story and you're deeply connected to that. And then that is like influencing every part of your life, your business, your leadership style, your family, your kids. It just like spider webs out into like having this amazing positive influence into everything else. So we will do that deeper work and help you get to that in a safe container, so you can have those moments of breakdown that maybe you can't have in the other part of your world, and then pull that back into how do you take that into your regular life. I like to talk about it's kind of in 3 stages. It's ideation and inspiration, and then integration. So how do we get that all integrated into our being, and then implementation? And you have to have all 3 in order to make it really happen, to really make that transformation happen, and be able to like be moving into full alignment, into your greatest life, into building what you really want to have versus what everyone else has told you need to have.
Yeah. I love it. And I can't wait. And so if you're interested in joining us, there's only a few spots left. It is a small event. There are 11 rooms total in this place, correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So there's more than 11 people because we have some shared rooms, but
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
11 rooms total in this adorable boutique hotel that we will be in.
I'm so excited.
But we will cap with facilitators at 14 people. So it's going to be a small, intimate event where you really get supported and nourished. Like I was saying before, all farm to table food. Everything is all inclusive except your flight. So you just got to get to Los Cabos. I
can't wait. I am so excited. So, yeah. So if you want information about that, I'll put it in the chat. You can go to justflourishbaja.com. And we got one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up, which is, do you think authenticity as a leader is something that is, I don't know if the word is necessary, but do you think it's something that is needed to hit certain levels of success? Or do you think it's a buzzword and we don't really need to worry about it?
Here's why I think it's important. It's important to actually create the life and the business you want that fills you up from the inside out. That's why it's important. It has nothing to do with like success from the success definition that we have out in the outer world. It has to do with success that is written by you inside yourself, inside your soul, inside whatever you want to call that. That's why it matters. Because if you are out there in the world behaving and doing things from behind a mask of what everyone else thinks you should be doing, or what, you know, the gurus are saying, or any teacher, like I'm a big encourager of saying, like, question your teachers, question me.
Like, that's one of my favorite quotes I was just talking about at the Glam Retreat, which is, believe nothing, no matter who says it, even if I say it, unless it resides within your own heart and your own reason.
Yes, I love that. And that's exactly it. You know, I have learned from a lot of people. Like if you're into human design, I'm a 5/1 generator. And so the 1 in my profile totally describes that part of me, which is like, I love learning as much as I possibly can. And I've had to learn the skill of being really discerning of what like is for me. And for me, in any given time, that can be dynamic, that can change. But if we're not putting out there our most authentic selves, we're not going to call in the people in our lives. And I'm not just talking about clients and business partners and those people, but like everyone, our friendships, our mentors, our circles, the way that our family behaves with us. Like if we're not doing that from our truest, most authentic place, then we're actually not going to have a life that truly fills you up. And so that's why it's important. Trying to be authentic from the buzzword perspective because you want to like build a successful business, that's doing the same thing as you're actually like.
Totally.
You know?
Okay. So I believe 1,000% that it is important for all those reasons. I also, you've heard me say this before, I'm like really big about the fact that everything that we do on the business side of things needs to have an intention and an objective. So if you've not heard me talk about this, what I mean by this is the intention is the thing, like what Jamie just said, like from your heart. And this is a solid reason for moving into action from a place of what good am I doing in the world? What good am I doing for myself and humanity? Like that's the intention. I also believe that all of these things, if we're, you know, in terms of business and career and that kind of thing, an objective is really important as well. So I'm going to add just a little bit to what Jamie said, which you may not agree with me, but I think you will.
I will.
Okay. So I was at Social Media Marketing World. I went to this session about AI. I'm like very into the AI thing right now. I went to the Gen AI conference. I'm running a training for digital marketer on Wednesday about AI. And one thing that has been made very clear from all of these experts is that as more and more people are creating content using these automated, robots, this technology that is so cool, and it's I love it. But as more content is being created that way, the one thing that is becoming more and more necessary is opinion-based content and things that are really, truly, authentically you, because human beings are going to start craving, even more than they do now, real interaction, real, human to human contact, whether it is a live video like this, where I accidentally started the video early, like a total hot mess, or, us being able to have whatever comes up for us here, reacting to your comments here. Like Becky had some great insights in the chat, reacting to the conversation that we're having out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's that or being in person, like we're going to be at this event in Mexico, people are really, there's going to be a massive amount of content coming out that is not authentic because it is coming from all of these automated things like spam bots now just creating content to jam Google with content. And so if you really want to stand out and you really want to build a business that you love, the best thing that you can do is figure out what it is that makes you weird, what it is that makes you wonderful, because they're the same thing, and let your freak flag fly.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I just woke my baby up. It's okay. It was fine.
So yeah. So I just want to make sure that we are aware that it is, oftentimes we get people in sales conversations or whatever who are like, it's not about the money, it's just about the impact that I want to make. And that's great. And if you want to actually make an impact, you're going to need some money behind it. So it's that intention and objective thing that, like, as humans, I think business is the best catalyst for self growth. I'm going to call that's going to be my new word. Self growth is now called self. But for self growth, because we get such an awesome opportunity with being fed with this stuff to be able to work through as business owners.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think that's exactly, being out in the world truly as we are, and like all of the weirdness that goes with it. But that's how we create the things that are just juicy for ourselves, and get the right people around us.
Do you think
it's gonna continue to be more and more important, just like you said.
Do you think, I see Erica is with us from LinkedIn right now. And as soon as I hit that dang live button, I was like, are you kidding me? I accidentally went live on LinkedIn.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. I should have added my LinkedIn profile.
I mean, I knew that I scheduled it for LinkedIn, but I planned on starting with like an actual real intro. Do you think that do you think it's good to be, hot mess authentic on LinkedIn as well? Or should I remove this, Erica, so it seems more professional?
Why did we?
I'm joking, really. I'm leaving the hot mess.
Do it. LinkedIn could use a little flavor.
I know, right? I've been trying to make sure that I actually log in there every once in a while, and it's like, here I am. So I'm trying to do better. So Erica, I'm glad that you're joining us from LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, make us go viral on this hot mess of a live.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if that's not proof in the pudding, right? So the one video that I had that hit a reach of 39 million organically was a video that I took just because I was freaking out because there were bugs in my bathtub from a bath bomb. So that was like the most authentic video I've ever done. And look what it did. Facebook paid me $30,000 for it. So it was pretty cool.
Yes.
Right?
I love it.
So
I remember
wild.
that, actually. I feel like we were at Trafficking Conversions when.
Yeah, maybe.
Happened.
We were at. Is that where we were? We may have been.
It was Trafficking Conversions, and I believe you also got hacked at this.
I was going to say, yeah, I think that's what I was just going to say. Is I think it may have been the night that we got hacked. I was
all the things happened at the same time.
Just perfect. Okay, so I know you've got a little one there, and I actually have a session with my physical trainer, which maybe I could just call her and tell her we have to go live for another hour so I could skip it. But oh my gosh, I'm going to bite your cheeks.
Here's authenticity for you.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Oh, nuggets. Okay. So I know we got to get going to the humans in our lives.
Yes.
So good. If people want to sign up for this, should they just go to that website for the retreat or should they come talk to us first?
Yeah, no. So for sure, you can totally DM either one of us, and I am going to bring him back on so he doesn't cry while we're talking about this. So, yes, you can totally go on and just sign right up if you're like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life, and now I need to be there right now. So there is the ability to just sign right up. You can also book a call from there. It kind of has like a little application thing and a small deposit because I believe in the energetic exchange, but you'll get that back if you decide not to come. And so you can book a call with me to go a little bit deeper and see if that's something you want to do. But feel free to DM either one of us. And I'm putting that out there for Molly. I'm not sure if that's true, but for me,
that's perfect. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, and we can chat that way. Any one of those things is fine. I actually didn't talk about this at all today, but one quick thing is that if you had been keeping an eye on this retreat, I did actually make it one day less because I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with this little nugget here. And so I made the decision to go one day less. So now it's going to be 4 nights, 5 days. And then also lowered the price just slightly. So that may, if you were on the fence, go check that out. Now it's the 21st through the 25th, not to the 26th. So still all the amazing things. I basically got rid of a rest day. So
amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. It's going to be beautiful. We'll all be together and we're going to get to play, which I am just really, really excited about. So thank you so much, Jamie, for hanging out. And this is the website, flourishbaja.com. Nice. And go snuggle that cutie patootie.
Say bye, Kaden. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just so grateful for everyone in our community. And this weekend just really ground that in for me that we are such a weird, awesome group of humans. And I'm just super, 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 super grateful. So yay. I love you, Jamie. And I can't wait to see you in Mexico. Hooray. Yay.